Ready. So, hey everybody, and welcome back for the uh, part three of how to approach the holy name in Japa and Kirtan meditation. Um, for people that have just kind of maybe just been introduced and like super keen to try it out and figure out what's how everything, and I guess anybody else that wants to kind of go back to the basics. So, yeah, in the last session, I kind of elaborated on some more verses from the Shikshastakam, which is an amazing prayer written by Lord Chaitanya, and a little bit about some insights he had there on moods that we can approach the holy name with, as well as how to understand the presence, like a full presence of the personality in the mantra, and as well as how to use a sankalpa to help us kind of focus our mind if we're having trouble with that. Um, Sometimes something to bring our conscious presence, to stay with the holy name as it's happening around us and from our mouths. Um, yeah, so in the second part, the third part, what we're going to go over a little bit more is like understanding what is the relevance of this Mahaman meditation, you know. So, like in this time, there in the second verse of the Shikshastakam, there is another verse which Lord Chaitanya says two things that you can quote out of there. He says, number one, there's no hard and fast rules, and secondly, that one can easily approach you through the chanting of these mantras. So, what does that actually mean? And that there's no hard and fast rules. I mean, first of all, the reason it's easy to approach, as we were saying before, is that, in this age, there are so many different, over time, there have been so many different forms of ways in which people, spiritual seekers, have attempted to try and uh, understand, like what is God, who is God. People have explored through religion, through shamanic practices, through drugs and psychedelics, and all kinds of things. At least the same one so far. So, yeah, and we can understand that there are through many thousands of ancient cultures and religions. I could probably even say more than thousands, maybe. That I don't know actually. That so many different methods have been recommended, but they're not so simple as what we've been given in this age. And what's recommended in the Vedas is that we live in a time when we're now in a society which is full of vice, and people have no morals, people have no principles, people are very open to evil behavior and don't really fear consequences of that. And people are just pretty bad. Like in this age, it's an age of degradation, it's an age of crawl and hypocrisy, and unfortunately, the majority of people are becoming more and more degraded due to lack of good spiritual leadership, knowledge and information, and just following trends because people are sheepish like in that way. So uh, we need something that's very accessible and easy, and that's why we've been given the mercy. Being able to approach God through a very simple, easy method, because we have no memory span, we have no focus attention, and we're very distracted, and we need a lot more of so-called mercy. So we have this mantra meditation, which is the most recommended. So that's what he means in terms of easy to approach, and we can think about that as well. That Thank you so much for this really easy, accessible method, which is packed with a lot more mercy, which means you get a lot more for the little bit that you put in. And it's like basically, if a senior person gives you instructions and you follow them according to how they give it to you, then that basically gives you makes them happy and makes them endeared to you, and they will be more willing to endow positive energy and love and affection on you and serve you back in a very positive way. So additionally, this is what has been recommended in the ancient scriptures, is that in our time, where we actually need to approach the divine, the universe, God, the creators, the high powers that be, through this method of chanting uh, mantra and using the holy names or the names of God. So therefore, it is the method which the most mercy is given through, because it's kind of exactly what makes him happy. And that is felt through how much advancement we make when we do it, how much realizations we have, how much love we receive, and how much we purify. So the thing to say that there's no hard and fast rules, it doesn't really mean that, one can approach now in a very offensive and disrespectful mood, like a crazy person, and just not caring, because there's no hard and fast rules. That would actually be a misunderstanding, and a misappropriation and a misuse of the Shastra. So we have this a lot, where people take ancient scriptures and they very immaturely try to manipulate the meaning of it to suit their selfish or immoral or um, their pride in some way, to refuse to correct or improve themselves according to being a principled or a good person. So they might use ancient scriptures or religious practices to justify a very ill behavior, which is not actually the intention of what is written. So that's very offensive. That's a form of appropriation, and that is not the way to read and understand anything that's written in these ancient scriptures. So no hard and fast rules doesn't necessarily mean that one may approach in a disrespectful or offensive manner. That's a misunderstanding and a misappropriation of the statement. What it actually means is that, because we're struggling so much in this age, that it's easy, in the sense that it's not like you have to sit in a particular posture or do it at a particular time of day or in a particular kind of outfit. It's not really difficult. It's just pretty easy, because you can just kind of pick up some meditation beads, or even just be sitting anywhere at any time, and in your mind just be able to do this mantra. And in that sense, there's no hard and fast rules. It's not so strict, like how it's performed and da 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 da. I mean, there are some guidelines there to cut out our tendency to be offensive and disrespectful, but we actually understand things with maturity and compassion and respect when we're applying them, especially when they're spiritual principles, because that is the mood in which we approach spiritual things and their sanctity. So yeah, that is a gradual method of cleaning and self-healing, and everything that we do when we do this mantra will naturally, all the good qualities will develop in us from that. It creates all of those good qualities in us, because it's a time for reflection. We get the mercy of realizations. We get so much spiritual love and affection, and we learn just new patterns and ways of adjusting ourselves to the people around us in our world and our experiences, and we develop all the good qualities within us. So it's not like you have to be at a certain level before you begin, but definitely it will take you there. So Yeah, that's really quite amazing. That this mantra, it comes with mercy, and because we are so bad, like so bad in this age, and we have really, so many natural flaws, that it's very hard for us to do things well. So basically, mercy by definition, Google definition, is like compassion or forgiveness shown to someone whom it is within one's power to punish or harm. Compassion or forgiveness shown towards someone who it is within one's power to punish or harm. So this is one of my favorite concepts, and this is really the mood of the personality in the mantra in the holy name. And this is really felt that, uh, we're we're doing a lot of things and that we're getting a lot of mercy. And this mantra can, it can even change your karma. It can like clear out bad karma. And it's like we do this much and we get that much, so much more than what we really put in. So we're very fortunate in this time, actually, besides the fact that we're extremely unfortunate and uh, not the best behaved, the fact that we're still around here, but that we get so much fortune to have such an easy method of meditation that it brings so much benefit accessible to us. So yeah, that's kind of just touching on the no hard and fast rules, and as well as easy to approach. Um, yeah. So the next part of this discussion will be a little bit on the topic of tolerance. And with tolerance, what we can understand is that it's kind of like the mood of like, it's not all on you, babe. you know, uh, uh, we don't have to feel like we're in control of everything, and that, uh, you know, that gives us a lot of stress and anxiety. Um, but that when we practice tolerance, that we're kind of accepting uh, another energy, or not, or kind of sharing the responsibility of being able to deal with things that we experience, and that there might be a divine or higher power or being that kind of walks through every experience with us, and that handles some part on their behalf, uh, and that, like Christians say, like Jesus take the wheel or something like that. And basically, like, that we don't have to bear all of the burden of the difficult things that we experience that might provoke a need for tolerance. So that can kind of increase our faith. And okay, I'm back. All right. So where were we? Oh yeah, tolerance. So in tolerance, tolerance, it also shows maturity, patience, and compassion in someone's nature, which are definitely qualities that we all could benefit from. So when a person exhibits tolerance, we know that they have maturity, that they have seen, they have experienced enough that they can, handle things in a non childish or reactive way. We know that it takes patience, of course. Tolerance and patience are deeply un, inseparable, and compassion. You know, if you're in a provoking moment, to have the intelligence to, instead of just feeling it all for yourself and what you're going through, and make that the whole central thing of your experience, to actually put yourself in the shoes of the other people, even those that are provoking or pushing you in that moment. That is definitely a way to definitely cultivate tolerance, you know, because we need to understand, like, why are people hurting, lashing out, acting bad? or maybe it's a situation we're not understanding, or something that we created, or we, did before, whatever it might be. Compassion is definitely like the antidote. So uh, it's really a clever way to just, in that moment of anger or irritation, just develop something in your mind that goes, compassion, compassion. Check my compassion checks. Put myself in someone else's shoes. What are the other possibilities in this moment besides my own experience? And definitely, I think that's, um, you know, to be merciful and considerate of people's shortcomings as well. Be merciful, exhibit mercy, and considerate of people's shortcomings. Why does that person have that shortcoming? Um, Considering it just as a shortcoming that you can just tolerate. Yeah, this person does a thing, irritates me. It's just a quality that they have. I'm not gonna react to it. I'm not gonna hold on to it. I'm not gonna prioritize it in my dealings with that person. Um, and that is like just, you know, yes, 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 yes. Why not do that? Because you won't even know, but just by having that positive experience of the experience and thinking compassionately or considerately about a person in a moment, it's like opens a doorway to love in that relationship, and then the person has that opportunity to see it, learn from it, and feel easy that they can do that for you as well. you know so all our relationships can improve from that, and we can receive more affection and positive energy and exchanges and dealings from other people, just by putting so much effort into managing ourselves and practicing tolerance. And in the short term and the long term, this is going to be very important in keeping healthy relationships for the long term. Tolerance. Tolerance endures. Tolerance gives us good relationships in the long term. So some relationships we definitely know we need to have long term, or we want to, or we're forced to. Even if we are forced to, bring tolerance into that. Okay, it will just make your experience better. When you get angry, not only do you become illusioned, but your body releases stress hormone, which damages your brain, damages your muscles, increases your chances of disease, damages your organs, reduces your memory. um Besides internally, externally, just creates bad impressions and makes people dislike us and just closes doors for us. So so many reasons to practice tolerance. um it guides people down a path of love, which is like, wow, I love that. Tolerance guides people down a path of love. Tolerance is a path of love. All of those other options, which are exhibiting our lower nature, not being tolerant, being greedy or envious or angry or offended or disrespectful, or selfish in a moment, or unforgiving or immature or unmerciful, having a desire to punish or hurt people, that is not a loving way. That is not the way of love. And you could, like, your life is like a series of decisions, and you could go that way, you could go that way, you could go that way. You're like constantly at these splits in the road where you have to decide which way to go. And in the end, in the very end, where you end up is a result of all the little decisions that you make in every moment. So just optimize yourself for your best possible potential, and act as responsibly and maturely and beneficially to yourself and others in every moment, in every decision making point that comes into your life as possible. Because in the end, just, you're gonna have an accumulation of mature decisions and good karma and lovely relationships and mercy and compassion from other people, and it's just going to take you so much further and higher. you know and even in other religions, like the judgment day, it's coming, and you're going to be, all of it's going to be remembered. How did you decide to act in that moment? You're not the victim of every situation. How you decide to respond to everything, is also your responsibility entirely. You can't just blame situations, God, people, for the decisions that you make in every moment to what you're going to let control you or what you're going to control. So we have that ability as humans. Animals don't have that ability. That's why our being in a human body is the most fortunate birth, and that's a responsibility. Spider-Man said, "With great power comes great responsibility." And in this body, your responsibility is to become self-realized, to realize yourself as a soul, where that soul comes from, what it means. To brush your teeth, which means meditating, which is the brushing the teeth of the soul, and to make good decisions with that little bit of minute independence that we have. That's what it all boils down to, and it determines our outcome, even at the end of this life when we die and we leave our body, where we're going to go. All of those little decisions affect that so drastically. So you want the best for you. We're fighting for that all the time while we're alive. Why aren't we doing it in the long term or a spiritual sense? Why are we making stupid decisions in the immediate present for very short term benefit that are definitely compromising or destroying our long term benefit? It's just like stupid. So don't be like that. Just have tolerance. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect, okay? I have a temper myself. I have a temper, and I have quite struggled to make decisions, and so many shortcomings. I have certain things which I'm very easily distracted by, and so on and so forth. So I know it's difficult, and I'm not saying be so hard on yourself, but definitely, be more responsible in the fact that a lot more is in your hands than you think it is in the quick decisions that we make in every moment. And I know it's not easy to practice tolerance all the time. I know it's so difficult, and sometimes we feel that we're doing it too much and it's creating a negative result. Those kinds of things also happen, but in those moments, it's not about having too much tolerance. It's about not asserting yourself in a healthy and positive way. Sometimes I have too much tolerance. No, you can't have enough tolerance, but you can definitely know when you need to assert yourself in a more positive and definitive way if people are abusing your tolerance. You can still be tolerant and assertive, you know? As I've said before, you draw a healthy boundary, you acknowledge, out loud how your boundary is being crossed or how you feel the reality of disrespect or something in a situation, and you verbalize a healthy boundary. And that could be exhibiting tolerance and also drawing a line for the relationship to be preserved in the long term. So it helps us to depend more on divine intervention. Yeah. You know, that belief in karma is sometimes cruel that we have that, but it sometimes saves us from doing something bad. So we shouldn't wish ill on others. We shouldn't wish ill on others. We should wish the best for people. And sometimes that means wishing someone gets corrected for something that they did wrong, but in a way that's going to benefit them, that they're going to learn to overcome that bad thing, habit, thought, action. Not that they're just going to get punished and get hurt, if that makes sense. That ill wishing is our negative trait, and that we get the bad reaction for. They don't suffer for your curse, they don't suffer for your ill wishing, you do. They get benefit for that. When you wish ill upon someone, they get benefit. But when you wish well on someone, you get benefit. Even if that means wishing for their healthy correction. So think about that. Think about that as having a dirty mind or dirty heart. Is if you are spiteful or if you wish ill on other people, then your heart is dirty. Even if they deserve it, you should wish well on them for them to recover from that so that they start producing suffering and pain in their own lives and the lives of others. Otherwise, your mind is just in a bad place if you really wish for people to suffer. It's not directly that you want someone to suffer, but you want them to stop the suffering thing that they're doing and be corrected, not to suffer, to be corrected. And then God will decide how that correction comes. Because, yeah, some people have to suffer to be corrected, but it's not on you. So we believe in divine intervention when we have tolerance, or believing in divine intervention will give you tolerance. And These are things you can meditate on when you're chanting meditation, or that will just help you to have a better connection with the holy name and the personality behind it, because it exhibits faith, you know. Um, to wait just for that frustration to come out as well. So it reduces our spite, as I've said. When we have tolerance, then the spiteful nature comes out of us. Definitely, definitely, definitely take that thing out of you. Take it out of you. Take that out of you. If there's spitefulness, desire to hurt people in reciprocation for suffering they've given you or something, uh, sometimes kind of a natural response, but definitely so digressive, regressive. So just, you know, when that spiteful thing is tolerance, compassion. Just force your mind into that. Get a book, write down tolerance, compassion for that personality, and you might even come up with really good solutions for how to help them be corrected by someone else or something like that. You know. So very healthy relationships in societies. Tolerance gives us endurance to keep at something until we see positive results, which is much needed also in meditation and yoga. So in meditation and yoga, sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's difficult, sometimes we're not feeling it. We need tolerance, tolerate the challenges that are coming while we're doing it, and in the end, eventually you will see the positive results. Some things just take time and dedication. So yeah, tolerance is like the stepping stone, or the complementary ingredient to with endurance, to cultivate, to produce endurance. You tolerating the pain while you're working out. The pain is there. Your mind's like, stop! It's burning. I can't breathe. I'm thirsty. But your determination is like, you said 20 reps. I'm on 16. I'm gonna do 20. And you tolerate the pain, you tolerate the thirst, you tolerate the mental uh, baby crying, and you just go, you know, and you push it to that commitment, and then you see the positive results in the end. Yeah, with your work ideas, with your relationships, with your everything. So it's very exciting, and I hope that you're really going to apply this, because I want to see you all glow up. So the last thing that I'm gonna say for today's session is just this thing about false prestige. Maybe I should have put it in the middle or the beginning of something, because it's kind of like flat liner. But yeah, definitely, you know, when we're approaching the holy name in meditation, in Kirtan, in Japa, we need to kind of clear out of our mind at that time and in that moment any kind of false ideas we have about who we are, that are making us proud or feel superior to other people in any kind of way. So the false ego, by definition, is any idea of yourself related to your body or your mental body, like your astrology or something. uh, those aspects of you are real in this present moment, but you are your soul, because still when you die, when your body dies, your soul still is conscious and goes somewhere else. And still, when there's a dead body, the personality is not in it, you know. So that person is not the body, they're the soul. So that is just a temporary part of you that's not really the whole you, that you don't really need to prioritize in terms of when you're thinking about who you are. Russian, a senior member of this community, uh, uh, European, tall, beautiful, you know, an entrepreneur, the boss of a company, a government official, a diplomat, the president. Uh, yeah, that's your false prestige. It's an idea you have of yourself which makes you superior to others, which is actually false. Because on the raw, real level, we're all just a soul. We're all just a soul and a piece of divine, pure God energy. And all of the souls are the same. I mean, every single soul is unique. definitely, and different. There's no two souls which are the same, but there's no soul which is more important than another soul, if that makes sense. Their souls in different bodies because they have different karma on this planet, and some with a greater benefit or opportunity than other ones, and some with a more important roles in that particular body than other ones. But in reality, one is not more superior to another one, and everyone is small to God or to the universe or to the super ultimate creator. So that just real grasp of reality and who you are will give you humility, will give you a clear sense of reality, and will allow you to approach this holy meditation mantra with a clear head. It's kind of like, what is the use of bringing your false prestige? Like, it's just like, what is it bringing? It's like it doesn't really seem to bring anything into that relationship with you and the mantra. It's like completely random and unnecessary and irrelevant, if that makes any sense. Or if it's there, it might be creating some kind of struggle for you while it's there. So it's just like this cloud that it just doesn't like interference, creating interference. But when you just acknowledge you are with the holy name, uh, as this little soul, little piece of you, and just like that, it's just like open, it's full, it's accessible both ways, and it's just like there's spacious and real. It doesn't need this little other thing to come in between it. That's like, so what. It doesn't mean we can't ask for help in our responsibilities that we have in this body and in this world. Definitely, I mean, I'm not saying like if you're a woman and you're having trouble getting abused because of your body, by people, and when you're meditating, you're like, holy name, please help me with this. This is what I'm experiencing. Fine, and you're acknowledging the reality of the situation, but you're not coming with a full sense of prestige, which is like, I'm this and this is giving me more importance and this is making me proud in front of, my creator. So it's a material conception of oneself. There are real identities that I'm a servant. I am a servant of God. I'm a servant of divine energy. I'm a servant of the creator of this world. That servantship, not that I am the controller of something, also. I am the servant of the divine. In that moment is like full access to the mercy which can come from that holy name, right? It just feels like that. It just seems like that because it just makes sense. um you can even act if you're struggling with that false prestige while you're spending time with the mantra, and it's just there the whole time and you can't really put it away. Then you could just acknowledge it openly in that moment. Please help me with my false ego, or thank you for. Sometimes it's nice to say, instead of please, to say thank you for, in that positive manifestation energy. Thank you for helping me with my false ego, because actually there's a lot that you've already overcome as well. So instead of being in a suffering state of mind, you put yourself in a thank you, and you give yourself a chance to acknowledge your progress. And that's kind of going to give you confidence and determination and excitement. Some people, some people need different things. So you know what you need in a different moment, and exactly how to um, master your mind in that moment to achieve the result that you require. Um, yeah, please help me to overcome my bad conditioning. Thank you for helping me overcome my bad conditioning. Because when you say please, you're kind of not acknowledging what has been done for you, and you're just focusing on what you're lacking or what has not been done for you by God. But when you say thank you, then you are acknowledging what has been done for you and what you've also already done. So it's kind of, you'll feel a bit happier. I will be focused on the good things that are happening, not just all the troublesome things. And then when I you know, I'm like shopping, and then I just see like a packet of uh, something that someone really likes, and I'm gonna see them later. I'm like, I'm just gonna get that for that person. And then you go and you give it to them, and then they're like, oh my god, thank you so much. And then that appreciation kind of makes you feel happy, and then you want to do it more. You know, but when you do something for someone and they don't appreciate it, it's very hard sometimes to do it again, or even have that desire to do it again for them. So same with the divine, with God. You know, if we're never appreciating things, then they're gonna just stop bringing blessings in your life, because you just don't see it, you don't appreciate it. But sometimes the more we say thank you, the more is that excitement to do more. You know. So yeah, um, even with people that are bhakti yogis, that are like deep bhakti yogis, you'll know about varna and ashram. You know, we that's also part of the false ego. I'm a vaishya, I'm a sannyasi, this and this and that. That is not always useful to bring into your japa or your kirtan meditation. You know, just put that aside, because that's just not important in that moment between you and the holy name. You know. So that's also part of it. I'm a brahmana, whatever. Uh, and then finally, the most important thing also, I think, is that also the one thing the Shikshastakam says is offering all respect to others. So we spoke about this in self-love. We understood how when cultivating self-love, having respect for everybody helps us to have a clear sense of identity, and also to cultivate self-love, because we're acknowledging the very respectable aspects of our being. Uh, and the being that is overseeing all the beings. And so, offering all respect to others is a very important attitude also to have when we are doing mantra, kirtan, and japa meditation. For so much, so much, because we're just constantly being tested, obviously, all of the time, you know, and we don't always like people who have tolerance for them, and so on and so forth. But you have to be respectful, because first, cultivating respect in your mind will produce more outward displays of respect, and then you're just creating less offenses. So the holy name will be more pleased with you and bestow more mercy and bliss upon you. But definitely, when we're creating offensive activities, when we're doing things which offend and upset people, and especially other spiritual practitioners and other people doing mantra meditation, it's hypocritical. It's actually hypocritical. So it's like asking for mercy while we're hurting people. And then the holy name's like, nah, I'm just going to withhold the joy from you because you're making other people upset, you know? So, in one sense, also, we limit the amount of blessings and happiness that we can receive in our lives when we're disrespectful to other people. Because, you know, those bestowers of that are not fond of bestowing upon hurtful people. So everybody is a spirit soul. Everybody has a little version, live incarnation of God in one form or the other in their heart, and witnessing everything. And you don't want to disrespect someone's child and think that their mother is gonna bring you candy and be warm and loving towards you when they see you, and help you when you're stuck in the tuck shop line and you're just 5 rand short. No. But when you're respectful, then people respect you too, and then they're very forward and loving towards you. So the same with the holy name. And sometimes we're not sure why we're experiencing a block. You know, we're chanting and it's just kind of feeling dead, or the taste isn't there, or something. Usually it's because we did something disrespectful to the holy name, to the personality behind it, or to people, practitioners of that, or somebody. And we could go through in our mind asking for forgiveness and trying to have awareness about where we did something wrong, and then act on it additionally, not just stop there. If it's suitable, take it to the next step and act on that. Make a formal apology or do a positive reciprocating act. Some people don't appreciate that you just do something nice for them. They want an official overt apology. Some people forgive just when you do something nice after doing something hurtful. Whatever pleases that personality, make up for it and acknowledge it and ask for forgiveness. And then your experience of mantra meditation will be better, actually, because it's something that is very consciously kind of one of the acknowledgments of the holy name, is that it doesn't really work so well if you're kind of an offensive personality. So yeah, um I kind of have that much to say for today. um and I hope that you can remember these things. At least I've put this here so that you can go over it again. And it takes some time to get there. Our emotions doing things disturb us all the time. Da 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 da. Weak memory. But hopefully that this gets some things which can help you to approach this form of meditation with consciousness and achieve very quick positive results from it as well. So those are just a few tips. And if you have any queries, doubts, corrections, uh, fun additions and comments, thoughts, I really would like to hear it. So you can drop me a message, give me a call, whatever. And yeah, it'd be nice to know if there's other topics that I could elaborate on more. If there's something, don't be shy, ask away. And hopefully that I can give you something real, graspable, useful. Um, yeah, cool. Rade, thank you so much.